They changed this update. Here we go.
Oh, there's soccer.
There it is.
Fuck, man.
Now the buttons hit.
I know soccer. I know.
Sorry, boys.
I think we're live. Zonker, I know you just got in here, but if you want, you can check too. But yeah, we should be live. Says excellent health on the stream. Colt Eastwood just reconfirmed. Tim Dog. It's the time of the month for Tim Dog. It's the perfect show. We are gonna have some good times on tonight's show. We got a bunch of good topics. A surprising amount of topics, actually, when I started looking into everything that's been happening. Colt Eastwood, we're doing intros. We're doing shout-outs. We're doing topics. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome to RDX. This is Colt Eastwood. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. We're just days away from Christmas, so we've got a little bit of stuff to talk about.
Now, we got to make sure that they can hear us, all of us this time. Right?
Yeah, we'll just give it a little wait, and then we'll wait for them to say.
I heard us talking
to himself.
Hey,
I heard.
went back.
You hit the wrong button, man. You hit the wrong button.
Dog, buddy, how you been?
Good. Happy to be here. It's the end of the year. It's holidays coming up, so should be a good show. Happy to be here.
Well, Tim, we've got the best guest ever. Clowns, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, man? Thanks for having me, Dealer. And this is an awesome panel right here. So excited to be on this show. And you know what? The holidays are coming up, so I hope everybody gets Game Pass. Perfect time.
Apparently, we keep buffering, so let me go in and try to ease the pain here.
Yeah, I saw it too.
Gosh. Why?
While Dealer does that, the gameplay is provided by Colt Eastwood. I recorded up to an hour of Cyberpunk with some random clips I took, and I wanted to show off why I like the game. So yeah, it's basically a bunch of like 3 or 4 minute clips, and then a couple of long extended clips. So you'll kind of see this at a low bit rate at 1080p. So
this GTA clip looks great.
Yeah, this game's freaking fun.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the footage yet, but this is Colt's footage. Again, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm going to give some shout-outs real quick, and then we will get into the topics here. We got a ton of good stuff to talk about here. If I can stall long enough to get back up to Twitter here. So, real quick, shout-out here. And a game giveaway winner for Patreon. We have Jezzy Nub Xbox. He wins a copy of Cyberpunk, courtesy of Patreon. Link down below if you want to become one. First through 5th every month that updates. But congratulations to Jezzy Nub. He's been supporting the show forever, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Zerodin, by the way, these are verbal shout-outs to Dr. Vortex. We've also got Game Genie Prime, Slim73, Pink Orcbot, Costanza, Wayne, Scout Trooper 74, KY Bob, Wakanda XNT, Goose 8402, DT Baggins, Straw Hat Khalifa, Bad Boy Live, Assassin Lupa, Foreign Object, Gabqueeze, Teo, John Blue, Vec Boss, Deviator X, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cabello, and of course, All Might, AJ Hutton, Gaz, and Dark CMF. Thank you guys for what you do. Hey, Tim Dog, did you know that CD Projekt Red approved a bunch of refunds for the game, right? For Cyberpunk. It was some issues, right? And apparently Sony pulled the damn game off their store.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Can you explain why why is that happening? is that okay? They didn't pull it off because it was like not a good, like they pulled it off because they don't want to give money back to people, right?
Yeah, honestly, this has been something that I don't think anybody's ever. I don't think there's ever been a situation like this. Even that game that came out, No Man's Sky, which was pretty bad too.
Really bad.
Yeah, they didn't do this, but I think this is due to their refund policy. It's different than Xbox's. It seems like Xbox's is pretty much straightforward and. You could pretty much get it. With them, it's not always straightforward. I think, part of their agreement is once you download a game, you really can't refund it. And that's part of the problem. So I think that's the reason why it happened. They just didn't want to they wanted to avoid the situation. And it's pretty shitty. And I mean, obviously you could blame Cyberpunk, but I do think that Sony should take a little heat on their refund policy, or at least look into it, because I've heard horror stories upon horror stories about it, all the way back to when people had their games hacked and their account hacked and all this type of stuff, and they can never get a refund. So I just, like I said, it's a bad situation, and I think it needs to be looked into. But it's pretty crazy how Cyberpunk right now, which sold 13 million overall, is not on the PlayStation Store. It's unprecedented.
Hey, Metacritic. You know what else is unprecedented? Metacritic in the chat says. He says only Sony pulled the game off their store. Xbox is ripping off customers. Well, that's actually not the case. And a quick Google search will show you that Xbox actually extended their refund policy on the game indefinitely.
Yeah.
And they've almost always offered refunds on games under many, many conditions. PlayStation hasn't. That's part of why this is so different. PlayStation doesn't want to set precedents that anyone can just say, look, you did it to Cyberpunk, I want a refund. It'd be a big mess. Xbox has always had a pretty decent refund policy over the past 3 to 4 years when they started implementing digital refunds and no contact support refunds requests. This is a mess. So
well, let's just be real. PlayStation has no games. Xbox has an exclusive in Cyberpunk. It's just the way it goes. No, honestly, I think Sony did it as a like a jab back to CD Projekt Red, because they said, "Oh yeah, contact Xbox, contact PlayStation, you'll get a refund," and they didn't even contact those two companies to tell them that.
Yeah.
And so it was just a shit show. So I think Sony was like, "All right, well, we're just gonna pull it off. F you."
Yeah.
I think it was that.
I
don't know if PlayStation and Xbox have Twitter. They could have just read it there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think you're telling us how to run our platform.
Hey, D-Badge, what were you trying to say, D?
I think CD Projekt Red, I think they should have given Sony and Microsoft the heads up. I don't think they gave them the heads up. And I think that's why Sony did react like that. But I think it was a little bit harsh. Like, in all honesty, yes, on the PlayStation 4 and on the Xbox One, I can understand gamers being frustrated with the state of the game on those systems. It's fair enough.
They have a right to. It's not understanding. Yeah. They have a right to.
But the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, Series S, the game, it's running fine. It's got its normal glitches, but they patched a lot of shit from the launch. So it's running pretty well. So to take it directly out of the store, it was a little excessive in my opinion. And Sony, I think you guys are right. Sony, they don't like to give refunds. If you've ever had to try to get a refund with Sony, it's like pulling teeth with them. It's such a horrible experience. And at the end of the day, if they even do agree to give you your money back, you can't get your cash money back. They'll give you credit that you have to use in their store. So it's a part of their practice. I think it's also a jab at CD Projekt Red, and also too, Microsoft had some type of exclusivity on their platform. They have the marketing deal. So I think it's all a little bit sprinkled in. And I've been following Sony for years, and people can say, "Oh, you just hate Sony." I own a PlayStation 5. I own Sony products. Let's not get it twisted. They make good products. I'm not saying anything about that. But Sony is definitely petty. They're definitely a petty company. They do petty things all the time. And I think this was a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think they needed to pull it from the store.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I think that we're being a little... I like Sony's refund policy sucks. Xbox's has been amazing. I've had nothing but success. If I want, I refunded Monster Hunter World. I freaking hate that game. I bought it, played it with my friends, and I was like, screw this game. So I refunded it, and I played more than 2 hours of it, and they refunded me. They were like, yeah, no problem, because they saw, the guy said, he goes, yeah, we can see that you buy a lot of stuff on Xbox and, blah, blah, blah. We want to keep our customers happy. And I was like, oh, shit, cool. So he refunded it. But this isn't on Sony. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at Sony. I'm mad at CD Projekt shithead. So that's them messing up. I'm sorry. They deserve all the hate they're getting because it is terrible. I've had friends, literally can't even... they're shocked. They're like, hey man, so what's going on? Because they're playing on the PS4 or they're playing on the Xbox One, and they just are completely flabbergasted of what's going on. They're like, yo man, this looks worse than 360 games.
Yeah, but pull directly from the store. I understand for the I said,
everybody should pull it. Fuck them. Fuck CD Projekt
No,
Red.
It's running.
I like
It's running.
game.
Hey,
The game is
you
right-
do got to mention
honestly-
something though, real quick. On Zalker's point, I'll throw it back to D, and we'll throw it to Clowns, and we can move the fuck on from this. But they did actually patch the game recently,
Yeah, man.
and it does say patch 1.05 doubles performance on Xbox One and improves visuals. It's not a matter of the console can handle the thing. It's just a matter of, hey, it's a
No.
it's a big game releasing in a pandemic, though most of it wasn't developed in the pandemic. It doesn't help, right?
No, it's not about the hardware. That's not what we're talking about.
No, I'm
It's
just
like
saying
the
in general,
developer-
like that situation will improve, and it does suck they released it how they did. There's no excuse. I agree.
Yeah, and that's there's no excuse, and it's just honestly, if they just didn't lie, it would have been better. People would have been like, all right, like delay it or do something, but for them to blatantly lie consistently to people is what the problem is, and that's why people are mad. Like it runs surprisingly well on current gen hardware. It's like, did it though? You fuck.
They expected
no.
7 frames. They got 11.
And
I
no,
know.
and no Zocker and no Zocker is not mad about the delays. Everyone on this panel is very happy if a game gets delayed because we know exactly what that means. I mean, there's like 2 games in the history of the world that have been delayed for a long time and came out just so horrible, and one of them was Duke Nukem Forever. Like that's not how most things work. Most of these games get delayed and they're much better for it. I mean, if they would have put this game out in October or whenever it was originally supposed to be, or April of last year, holy smokes.
Wow.
But if this game would have come out in 6 months from now, I mean, knowing what they did with patch 1.04, which was the latest patch, this game could have been much, much better on console and PC. So
Well,
yeah,
Clowns,
we are good with delays.
We always want a finished quality game over a broken fucking game. Clowns, what was your kind of stance on this real quick before we kind of move forward?
I think it's really a complex issue, right? I think a lot of the problem has to come with management and not actually the devs, because according to some of the sources in the articles lately, the devs blasted management during an investor meeting. So I pinned the blame on management for trying to push this game out when it wasn't ready. I think the devs wanted more time for, a fully polished product. But I think Sony pulling it from the store, I don't know if that was the right call necessarily. It probably has to do with their terrible refund policy in general. And they're probably worried about some type of, backlash if they refunded one guy and not everybody else. But I think we're all pretty much adults here and we can make our own decisions if we want to buy the game or not. And I think for a lot of people on PS5, the game would have been fine. And that was probably something they were looking forward to. So it's a big disappointment overall, I think, generally for most gamers. For the people on older gen consoles, I feel bad because they are having a lot more issues. But overall, I mean, like Colt's experience with the game, I'm enjoying it on my Series X, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it, like, I'll be real, I find it weird that people are saying that it's not the developer's fault. It's not. It is. It's everyone's fault there. I'm sorry. Developers are the ones that report what the game is doing. Developers say, hey, like if it's getting pushed out, like you can tell your person, like this is not going to be pushed out. Like you can fight back. You have a voice as a developer, and this is coming from someone who has developed shit. So yeah, you can say whatever you need to say, and if you want to blame it on management, that's fine. And the inconsistencies from people, like the crunch, they're like, we don't care. Developers can crunch. I feel good about it, but now they feel bad for developers because the game sucks. It's like, get over it.
The
like,
game
how about we
doesn't
be a little
suck.
bit consistent? No, I mean, it doesn't suck on like PC. It's like people have said it's game of the year on PC and like a freaking 3 out of 10 on console. It's like that's inconsistent. I'm sorry. That's development. That's squarely on a lot of the management's on the whole team. Everybody.
Why are you sorry, Zalker?
It just sucks.
It's
just terrible.
The whole situation sucks. But, I want to add to that, Zucker, that I was talking to somebody on another show that's an investor in CD Projekt Red. And what he was telling me was that the 2 founders of CD Projekt Red, I guess they started out on PC and they're mostly PC guys anyway. But he was saying that all the screenshots that were showed to investors and the press, management only wanted PC screenshots. They did not want any screenshots from consoles to go out publicly or to the press. So that's a management issue right there. And then there was that ridiculous NDA that journalists signed as well. So, I mean, I think a lot of this cover-up's coming from management. Are some like team leaders that are devs responsible?
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know, but I've really pinned this on management here.
I would pin him I agree with Clowns. I would pin it on developers management. Like you say, the developers are at fault, but there are project managers who are getting breathing down their neck from the publishing arm of CD Projekt that is pushing them for a fiscal release or a financial window deadline. And the developers, the people who are coding, building, creating, making this game what it is, I've been in jobs where you're like, look, it's not ready. We're not ready for this. And the management's like, doesn't matter. Like, what, higher ups are saying this is what it's saying. And CD Projekt, the publishing arm, has a lot to blame for this.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because I've been in rooms with 200 people where I'm showing what I coded, and then there's people that are like, "You need to get this done," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna show this to 200 people." Like I've done that where I'm like, "I'm not gonna show it. Sorry, has my name on it. I created it. I'm not putting it out there."
I feel like it's pretty common sense. It's everyone's fault in a way.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's everyone. Everyone gets to blame, and that's the point. If you're a developer and you take pride in what you're going to be doing, you don't put out shit like that. Like that's just That's just what it is.
The thing is that traditionally games like this you want to release obviously at the end of the year or this period, and I think that was the overall push. As you know, I mean, we talked about it last week. They lost $1 billion over this whole thing, and they also lost one of the best reputation in gaming. Is now they are at a point where they are compromised, and I feel bad for them in a way. I agree with everyone on the panel that they deserve blame. I just don't want them to just go to a point where they actually, they stop making games, or they're compromised to a point where they really fall apart. I think they're one of the best developers going, and they started as just an independent developer, and they grew to this point. But yeah, this is a real big mess, and you look at things like the Halo thing. As much as we went crazy, if CD Projekt Red just even if they did it, even after going gold, and they said, "Sorry guys, we have to have a heart to hearts," they would have got killed. The stock would have probably took a little bit of a hit, but they would have recovered if they could have, released something that was released in a workable state. But right now we're still talking about this, and they don't even have their game on the digital storefront for the biggest market in PlayStation. So
it's
a bad situation.
It's just weird that people. I get it. I get the management's the majority to blame, but these developers made a game where you rise up against corporations, and now they're going to blame the corporation that they didn't get the game out in time. It's like, what the hell? It's like, no, if they're going to be people like doing that, what are we doing? Just freaking say something then. But
to be fair to CD Projekt Red, I understand everyone being pissed off at the state of the launch, right? But since then, the patches that they've done to the game, it's a different game. I have no issues with it on PlayStation 5 or on Xbox Series X. And it runs really well on PC. So I think more of the problems lie with the current gen. And like we said earlier, they've patched that too. It's not even running that bad on the current gen anymore.
Well, Zalker is letting his emo cancel his brain. No, I mean, I like it when people get passionate about stuff. All right, so it's good to kind of get a different flair out of people. And Zalker has got a good point. I think that it kind of lies on everyone, and that's part of the problem with Infinite. Is I don't think they were aware of quite the state of it, or they wouldn't have shown it, and they wouldn't have had to push it back, which is crazy. It's hard to believe.
But watch that stuff. Come on.
Yeah, we don't need no mountains. Shit. Hey, shout out to almost 1,400 people watching already. Thank you so much for what you do. Hit the like button, share it with a buddy or two, retweet it. Shout out to Stubbs. Shout out to Nano Polymath. Shout out to everybody. Psychonauts. Spooky Sprocket, everybody in the chat saying hi. We want to say hi back, but we can't because we have some interesting topics to get to. Again, Sony did pull the game from their store because they didn't want to have to give money back, right, for copies they already bought. And Microsoft just extended their refund policy indefinitely, apparently. So you can just get a refund whenever on this game. And again, patch 1.05 does effectively double performance and increase visuals on Xbox One, which is, again, just a week or two, right? So
Did you guys see the posts of the people that got refunds and then said, "Hey, I got a refund. Why can't I play the game anymore?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, guys were refunding the game and they're still trying to play it and like getting all upset they couldn't play the game anymore after they refunded
What
it.
the hell? I thought this was free money day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I do know how Gears 5 Hivebusters works. Cold Eastwood, we played a good little chunk of this game, and we should be able to finish it here soon. I mean, this game, people are giving it a lot of props for the amount of production value, and yes, the writing, right? How good the story is, the chemistry with the characters, the jokes. You know, like you get drop kicked out of a plane right at the beginning. That's writing, and I think that stuff really matters. And we played this game. This game is gorgeous, and it's getting it's actually getting a lot of praise. But there's a certain subset out there that don't like that, Colt.
Holy smokes, man! There's a lot of people in the industry is saying this is one of the best looking games on console right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing looking. Yeah, it looks great. Of course, what we're getting is basically a 3 to 4 hour expansion of the optimized for Series X Gears 5 game. Like, that's basically everything that they could throw at the Unreal Engine 4 Gears 5 build is what we're playing with Hivebusters. Looks amazing. There's flying embers all over the screen. There's shock effects and smoke and fire and lava. It's just a great game, and it has some pretty cool action and kind of I kind of wish there was a little bit of puzzles in it, but it's just something different that I hope that this team can do one more expansion like that while they vet out Gear 6. Really good.
I think it's awesome that they didn't really like hype this up, right? Like Eric Greenberg was talking about, like, you know, keep temper, you know, expectations, whatever, and then they drop, like, you know, Perfect Dark, and then Hivebusters is like a huge success. It looks insane, and it's an actual, like, pretty good written story. Like Dealer was saying, like, these guys came from, like, you know, a comic book writer wrote about these characters, and they have like a pretty good chemistry, pretty good storyline, and I'm glad that, you know, Hivebusters is taking that and running with it. I do think I love Marcus Phoenix. I love all the characters, but, you know, I think Xbox can really expand on the characters within this universe. I mean, we saw it with Gears Tactics. I thought Gears Tactics had an awesome story. I freaking loved that game. So this is, like, you know, my favorite universe within Xbox minus Sea of Thieves. But it's just great. It just looks insane. Like, I've seen so many, like, you know, a game looks good when you see like 50 million screenshots on Twitter. Because people are just blown away and they're throwing it up there. They're
really
like,
good
oh
photo
my
mode.
God.
You know,
There's so
I'm
many
looking
of
at this Cyberpunk gameplay, right? Keep in mind, I'm waiting for the patch. I haven't played this yet. And that's so incredibly hard for me to do. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm surprised how good this game looks after all the negativity I've heard. Colt, like, this is your gameplay. I mean, this game actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah, you're looking
Unpatched.
at performance mode. I rendered it down to 1080p at 10 megabits quality, which is, you know, a very fraction of what you'd be seeing if you were playing it live. So this is like way under YouTube compression so that it will run smoothly for the podcast. But yeah, this game the shooting's great. The driving is a little slippery, but still really good. I don't know. I haven't been this excited about playing a game since like Far Cry 3. Like, that was a cool new experience, and playing Mass Effect and Dying Light. Like, just one of these games has really, really got a hold of me, and I'm really enjoying it.
And I
Really
want people to know that I'm not like just hating on the game. Like, I love being in, like, when I was playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, I was in party with Fawns
at all.
No, I haven't I turned it on PC, and I played it on actually on Xbox base console. Don't do it. I played at my my friend's house. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
You said
I'm not even joking. Don't do it. It's bad. It's really bad. But I love listening to like Fawns and Colt playing this game because they're just talking about side quests and experiences they're going through, and I'm like, man, like, that's a side quest. They're like, yeah. I'm like, at least it's as expansive as Witcher 3 side quest, right? Like, it's like insane detail, insane characters, like, just cool, and you make your own decisions. Like, I'm looking forward to playing this, and I'm just waiting for the patches. I don't want this thing to be like marred, like, or just taken down from me.
You know, I understand everyone's frustration though, because like the hype for this game, like we heard about this game, 2013 or something, and then to get it on launch day on the base consoles in the state that it was, for sure, man, that's got to be really disappointing, man.
Yeah, it's you know, one thing's for sure, we were skeptical that it was going to come out when it was supposed to come out. It didn't, and it came out with some issues, man. And I hate to harp on it. You know, we point out the negative. We don't like to harp on it. That's not why we're in gaming, right? But it is definitely the reality of the situation. Is there's people to blame at all levels, and you know, get a refund if you're not happy. The game is apparently doing well, like Tim said, 13 plus million sold after adjustments for the refunds. And
after?
Yeah, after. That means that I think they're going to be okay. You know, so
they already made the production cost. What was it like in just pre-orders? They made it back or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I got to give a shout out to some of these people in the super chat real quick, or I'll get stabbed. Nano Polymath says, "Can you believe it? We made it another year together." I didn't know it was our anniversary. He says, "Thanks for not blocking me, and thank you for not blocking you. Thank you for taking the time out to make."
I'm blocking him now.
Make this year fun, entertaining, educational, positive. You've all provided really, really good feedback, and I appreciate and love all of you. Thank you so much, Nano. That's the nicest thing ever. And that was like $100 super chat, by the way. So Nano's rolling out big tonight. He said, "Fuck the lobster. We'll throw it to podcast." Tony Stark RDX. He says, "Let's go. Will this be the last RDX of the year, or will there be one more?" Anyway, great to be here. Yeah, great to have you here, brother. I was never going to call you anything other than Tony Stark RDX. And then we've also got what is that? Custodes X. He says they need to hang on. Yeah, remember. Yeah, they need to rename it to Consumer Punk D. What? All right, I'm done. I'm done with that one. All right. AJ Harris. He said, "I like turtles more than dealer." You might. Psychonauts. He says Cyberpunk 2077 is great on my Series X. Yes, I'm hearing pretty good things about that. Spooky Sprocket, shout out to you. He says, "Just wanted to wish the whole RDX crew and clowns a very special Christmas and New Year." Thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate it,
brother.
Sing it,
dealer. Sing it.
Cool.
Man, Cole, your footage looks amazing. I don't know how people are upset with this game on the next generation console.
Have you loaded this up on the Series X to try it out in performance? I mean, it does look. It looks beautiful like 80% of the time. And then sometimes you're like, "Oh, this doesn't look that great." I don't want to rag on, but the characters don't have the correct shading because there's no ambient occlusion. So there's no like real dynamic shadows or shadows casting in the baked in lighting. So, but most of the time the game just looks really good. And in performance mode, it just pretty much runs at 60. There's times where it will dip down and sit there and then it'll come right back up. And it's never hampered gameplay. Fonz and I have 70 plus hours on this game, and we've been in party chat, like turning the volume up and down as like big moments happen and just sharing our experience. So,
well, as someone that has it on PC too, I don't want to brag here, but on PC, it's a superior experience. And I'm talking just because it's on PC, because of the ray tracing, all the other effects that are in it, and that is going to be coming to the console, so it will be a different game. And I saw some guy on PC. That's why I love PC, because it's so open. This one guy, he actually has a mod on the game where you can play in third person, and holy shit, it looks the character models. The character models are there. They designed it, so it's he didn't have to do anything but change the view of it and
move the camera back.
And
it doesn't look weird though, huh?
It only a little bit on some of the footsteps, like on some of the grounds, a little unevenness there a little bit, but apart from that, no, it doesn't look weird, man. And I really I like it in first person, but all honesty, I really wish it was also in third person, because this game would just be on the next level if it was in third person.
When you're in first person, like they did it by design, you get into the moment more than you would like when I was creeping into a apartment and there was like a massacre had happened. It just hits a little bit harder when you're looking like down your forearms and hands at this like terrible scene, and just kind of hits like, I don't know. It's a great, I wanted to say a second ago, like, I know they're going to fix this and it's going to take quite a few months before everything gets ironed out, kind of like they did with Witcher. But I think this will be one of those games that endures as one of the many greats this generation. Once they get things ironed out, and people will look back and say, "Man, it had a really crappy launch, but boy, that game is kind of a must play.
Let me give a real quick shout out to Noof Nukem, by the way, in the chat. Shout out to you, brother. And we've also got Brian Harris. Shout out to you, man. Hang in there. Just thanks for watching. He says please block me so I can go play Cyberpunk. Yeah, it's funny. He wants to play it that bad. But seriously, thank you guys for what you do. Once again, I gotta finish a couple more of these shout outs. One of them to Gaz of GameOnDaily.com. Great site. Check it out. He says, can you imagine if Halo suffered from these problems? Yeah, let's breathe a sigh of relief and hope that 343 delivers.
Oh my God.
And everybody was giving shit about like 343 freaking delaying. It's like, oh no. Thank God.
Yeah. Tim, what do you think would have happened if 343 came out and
well, it would be like Halo Master Chief Collection Part 2 times 10.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? If you remember, Halo Master Chief Collection had a lot of issues too. But I look at the situation again, and I'm happy that Xbox bit the bullet now, and even though it was painful that they didn't go through, because this is just a complete mess.
Well, since we're talking about Halo, maybe Tim could chime in on this because he's always got his ears to the ground on Microsoft. But I did a story today because some Twitter users found one of the directors.
Can you fix the buffering, dealer? I don't know. I set this at 1080p, 10 megabits, like you said you do.
I mean,
I'm watching it live, so
I'm watching it at 720.
I got a message right here. It says error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, we are telling you to fuck off. Viewers will experience buffering. Okay, what does that even mean, though?
That means it's a YouTube-wide problem right now.
Are
we cutting out as it buffers like they have?
No, it's
damn
fine.
you, nanopolymath.
It's buffering a little bit. Let me get to this point.
We are telling you to fuck off.
Yeah, so one of the I don't know, he's a director, one of the visual directors is part of the UI. I forget his name right now. I don't have it in front of me. But
Chad Mauschkick or something like that.
Yeah. What's his name? Yeah, Chad Mercerwick. He's a UI art lead on Halo Infinite. Now they were looking at his LinkedIn, and his LinkedIn, he said that he just got finished wrapping up on the Xbox Series S, X, and PC for Halo, and there was no mention of the Xbox One platform. So a lot of people are kind of speculating on this, that the Xbox One version was canceled, that it's no longer going to be coming to the Xbox One. So maybe I touched on it today, and I said in my video, that I don't know if it's true, but
it's not. It's going to come to all platforms.
Oh, okay.
I think you can pretty much write that as fact. It's
Okay.
not. I mean, there's some people that are pushing 2 versions of the game. That's not true. It's coming to all platforms. Basically, the last I heard was what we all heard. They're just basically going under the hood and just refining the game as best that they can to make it look as the best it can in a year, and taking a whole year. So it's gonna be a cross.
A lot of the stuff they talked about with the overhaul, like the graphical overhaul and the fidelity that they interviewed, each other basically, is a lot of next gen features. Like you can see that it's a lot of next gen features. I think that, I think what happened with Cyberpunk with the base consoles, I think that did have Xbox maybe be like, all right, listen, let's make sure that the current gen consoles are locked down, right? Like let's not have one of these happen to us, kind of thing. I understand why the rumor's there, but a lot of the articles are saying that it's not it. But if it is, like, who knows what can happen in a year, right? Like, I'm just being honest.
This guy said, "Lower your res like the Xbox Series X launch titles." That's funny as shit. Hey, you know what? Xbox Series X was a little drunk back then, all right? You're having issues. He's coming out.
A lot of people are saying if you close the browser and open it back up, the buffering eases out. So just as long as you don't close it and leave us forever.
So close out the browser completely then.
I guess, yeah, and then come right back in. It should stop. Right now, I haven't seen it buffer in a little while.
Yeah, so. It's fine on my end.
All right, well, chat, hopefully this works.
Cyberpunk is even glitching our podcast. Damn it.
I mean, I want to play the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go for my third ending. Beat it twice already.
Yeah, you already beat it twice, Klaus? Jesus.
How many endings are?
Use a beast.
I think there's 5 from what I read.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Cyberpunk. I mean, again, I can't wait to jump into it. And I guess I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait. Colt's loving it though. I mean, Colt hasn't been. When you play that game and you're like, I have to play more of this. Like, it's that good. And apparently, Colt's like, this is what's happening to me right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you're actually enjoying the game quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, we played so many amazing games the past couple of years, but this is one of the most like compelling games where I get up in the morning. I'm on like little Christmas break. I get up in the morning, like I don't even say hi to my family. I just sneak in my pajamas into the game room, load up Cyberpunk. Like I'm just really enjoying it. And it's unfortunate that it's in such a bad state. And the gaming community is split right down the middle where they won't play it or they stopped and they hate it. And then there's the other side. It's like, dang, the game's so amazing. And the problems I have are so forgivable. I mean, it's not an ideal situation at all. And it's not really something where I'm telling people just to, it's okay. It's not okay, but dang, is it a good game. So it could be like Anthem, like Anthem wasn't what we expected. And those of us who did play it, it didn't give us what we wanted, regardless of the problems it had. And you just can't patch that out. Like they're trying to patch out and fix Anthem. I don't think you can. But this is one of those games where it's just good and it can only get better because it is a good game.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about Halo Infinite earlier as well. I mean, that game again was built. This game was like its inception, like 5 years ago or something, and from the ground up was already targeting these systems. And the fact that they did say, "Hey, we're coming back in a year, and this is a graphics overhaul," literally tells you that they just need time, right? So,
yeah, can I say something on that? There was like a little bit of a controversy talking about dropping Xbox One, this rumor, which I don't think is going to happen at all. And Tim agreed. You said that earlier, but people just forget that 343 started designing and developing this game for the Xbox One and Beast PCs like at least 3 or 4 years ago. They started they left the whiteboard and they went in and started building things in the computer. And building the engine, knowing it was going to run on Xbox One, and it's just that you don't just say, "Oh, Xbox One's holding us back. We're going to ditch it on this graphics overhaul and never use the Xbox One platform for Halo Infinite." That's just not how things work. The developers knew that this was going to run in a JAG core, conventional hard drive based system, and that's just how it is. That's what it was. It was made for that limitation.
Honestly, I think Xbox had a little bit of a rude awakening. With 343 and a lot of things, talking about like the Master Chief Collection and then like putting games on PC. Like the Master Chief Collection didn't all just go on PC; they put it in like parts mostly, and it's because it took them a while. And then as you're going through, you're seeing that developing stuff on PC is different. You need different specialized people to do that. And then not to mention, it's just like that's a lot of like you got to think about what Halo Infinite is doing, people. It's going on the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, PC, and they're putting slip space. Like there's a lot of moving parts that they're putting together. And when you notice that, like about the PC versions, like Phil Spencer himself later said, I wouldn't buy a developer if they don't make games for PC also. Like that is something he said, because it takes a lot of special, I think they had a rude awakening. They thought they could just do it pretty easily, but you need people that are specialized within that. And that's what they're doing now. They're getting those people. Every developer is, centric PC. And I think Clowns mentioned it that, the lead people on CD Projekt Red were mainly PC guys. Well, every developer is mainly a PC guy. Everybody I know that develops is mainly a PC guy.
One of the key additions, and I've been told this through back channels, is that the guy Pierre that's been added. He was, everyone when Joe was announced was made a big deal about him, but I heard the guy Pierre is a real big addition for the Halo Infinite, and his work is already being shown, or they're already seeing dividends off of his work. So it's going to be interesting. I think Halo actually is going to fall on its feet, and it's going to be okay. And like I said, it was painful but it was smart that they did it. I mean, it sucked and it was a failure, but just looking at this whole situation, I like if imagine this came out and we had these issues and this was going on with Xbox, it'd be really bad for 343.
Hey, you gotta give a shout out to Windows Central's Jez Corden. Jez Corden, he says, "Merry Christmas, my dudes." Shout out to him and Randall Althor of the Xbox 2. You're free to join too, buddy, if you'd like.
We love you, Jez.
And yes, we do love you.
I gotta say though, with the Halo disappointment, the Hivebusters was a pleasant surprise, and it makes the Xbox launch a lot more bearable because we have a first party, a new title. I know it's DLC, but at the same time, it's better than nothing. At least we got something new to play on our console.
It's the Coalition, man. The Coalition are to me, them and Playground Games are just the top developers at Xbox right now. Next to Rare, also, man, the Coalition they're just freaking rock stars, man. They kill it. Yep. And even without Rod, this is without Rod. You got to think about this, people. This is without Rod Ferguson. They just brought out one of the best looking games on a console in the Hivebusters, like the expansion. I know it's 3 hours, but man, does it just that's such a good indication for the future of the Coalition. Like losing Rod is a big thing, right? Like you're losing one of the top, the top person there. And it's like, all right, well, what can they do now? It's a little bit of unproven, and
but Hivebusters, I mean, so far, I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's an end all be all, but I mean, it's loaded with plenty of charisma. I'll say that.
And set pieces, unbelievable.
Yeah, floating down a lava river.
That's the first time dealers called it by the right name.
What Bunker Busters? Yeah.
Yeah, Bunker Busters.
Here's the word Bunker Busters.
Well, I said it last week. What did I say last week? I don't even know. You guys were yelling at me. I remember that.
It was funny. Whatever it was funny.
I want to say this on the Gears stuff, right? I'm not a huge Gears fan, right? I started liking Gears 4, went to Gears 5, but I want to tell you this: the Hivebusters, from what I played so far, it is fantastic. It's amazing. It makes me want to go more into the Gears universe. Like I really like this, and I hope they continue on this type of path for Gears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
Well, I mean, so does that mean are they going to do that, clowns, or are they going to fuck this up? What's going on?
I don't know.
Tell us the answers.
I don't have the answers.
That's fuck.
I don't have.
All right.
You know what? We can ask one person out there on the internet who might have the answers.
Mm-hmm. Everyone tweet at Fonzarelli right now.
Well, I was trying to get Colin and a couple of guys, but I basically was told that Xbox, the whole market, everything is on shutdown right now for the holidays. So couldn't get clearance.
What's his name? One of the leads for the Coalition that you were talking about getting?
Colin Penny.
There's another one. The one that was in
Michael Rick Ractor, or he's really good.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's really knowledgeable.
Hey, Freddie, I'll come back. I'll go back and get it, buddy.
Nice.
Unless Colt
Dealer never disappoints. Dealer never disappoints. Look, did you get Jez Corden?
Yeah, Jez was in here.
Yeah. All right.
So I think here we go. I'm right next to these, right? Game Genie Prime. Shout out to you. He says, is Rand too busy playing Animal Crossing to talk tonight, or is he just in the corner? Just kidding. Thank you so much. We got Freddie Chavez in the super chat as well. He says, my son spilled milk on my PC and my 2080 Super fried. Wow. He says you guys get rough estimates when it'll be that you'll actually be able to get maybe a 3080 D-Batch.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Me and D-Batch have been trying.
Come on, it's like a 20-second thing. Let's go.
You know what? They dropped today. They're dropping sporadically. So to be honest with you, I would say tomorrow at 5 p.m. Or 7 p.m. Eastern time is probably your last best chance. Or maybe tonight at I don't want to say it because the show's on, but maybe at like 9 p.m. They might drop some. But it's all over the place. It's really hard to get right now. It's due to the pandemic. Everybody's stuck at home. They don't got a lot of things to do, and everybody seems to want a game right now, and the demand is just really high. So just keep trying. Follow my Twitter. I try to tweet out whenever I find stuff.
Well, thanks for the heads up there, D. Isma Easy says, I love Cyberpunk, but they did promise us a non-linear story and gameplay, I guess choices. And he says choosing between the corporate background, the nomad background, there's almost nothing for the rest of the game regarding those backgrounds, I guess.
It's almost identical to Mass Effect. You choose your one of 3 origins, and it really barely moves the needle. It's not really meant to. It's really just for the intro, how your intro starts. So,
Spooky Sprocket, by the way, says, for me, Cyberpunk is a hell of a game on next gen. Yeah, and it's not even patched, so keep that in mind. Like, people keep talking about the Series S and how it's running X, Y, and Z. It doesn't even know it's fucking running on a Series S yet. So just know that for most games that's the case. He says, sure, it has issues, but nothing that is stopping him from enjoying it. Thank you so much, sir. Bounty Boom says, when Medium supposed to be out? That's
January.
I pushed it back twice, I guess, huh? And then
Yes.
Dronzua, he says, RDX, do you think Xbox will ever get VR? Happy holidays and be safe, everyone. Ah, man. Xbox, will they ever get VR, Zalker? Why I'm asking you? Because I just wanted you to talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Phil said, it was coming, and then I really don't give a flying fuck about VR.
Yeah, but Dronzua does.
I mean, I get that he does, but like, I don't know, man. Like,
up, man. Come on.
I mean, I honestly, I played Rogue Squadrons on VR, and that is the most impressed I've been with it. It was actually pretty freaking awesome. But again, it's just not there yet for me. So like, until it actually pushes forward, I don't mind if Xbox just skips out on it. I don't hear anybody talking about PSVR anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
Is your PSVR compatible with the PS5 yet? Right out of the box? Probably is.
I don't even know.
I think so. I think it is.
Yeah.
At least I hope.
Well, I mean,
the answer is
people get motion sickness still from that thing, dude. It's hilarious.
The answer is VR is coming to Xbox when it is more ubiquitous,
popular.
When it's more popular. It's not so niche of niche, and it's wireless and it's more powerful.
People get very upset about this. They get emotional, and I agree. It's an awesome technology, and in your perfect world, it'd be great if Xbox can support it. But I like everyone said on the panel, or at least Colt was saying, and I think we all agree. It's not there yet, and it might be 7 years, it might be 5 years to 10 years to when it is. And when it's there, I think Xbox will get it supported. But I don't know. I just think that VR is it's going to take about 10 years. It has to be fully no wires, very powerful, and like Colt was saying, people do still get sick from it. That is not bullshit. That is reality. I mean, I think Rand tried it once, and the first time he tried, he was sick. I have a feeling that if I try it, I would, I'd get sick. I just feel that they have to eliminate those type things for it to be generally accepted.
I didn't get sick when I tried PSVR. I just got dizzy, and then I was just like, ugh. But it was cool. It was cool. But I also they had like a bunch of them at Best Buy like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago or something. And one guy did throw up like on the floor at Best Buy, and I was like, ugh. And
then they told you to clean it up and stop staring at it?
No, I just stomped on it and splashed everyone.
Okay, that's gross. Hey, I got to give a shout out to Chris Grinnell, by the way. Chris Grinnell, game developer, as well as Kirby, game developer in the chat. Thank you guys for stopping by and being awesome. Cons, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, with VR, I have a friend, Chance Glasgow. He's a former developer at Infinity Ward, and he's really big into VR. He owns Roomy VR, the company in Orlando. But he gave a speech at Orlando IX, and he said the biggest problem with VR was that for gaming VR, it wasn't at the time at 90 frames per second per eye, and once it got there, it would start feeling better. I think the most recent Quest that came out, is now 90 frames per second per eye. So the experience should be a little bit better, but I still know. Right? Yeah, the Quest 2. But I still know people that are getting VR sick, even from the Quest 2, that have to take that Dramamine stuff or whatever before they play it. So I don't know,
Fun.
Yeah, pop some pills, play some VR.
Fun. Take some Dramamine so you can play VR. That just doesn't sound good to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and move forward. At least a little bit here. We're talking about VR.
Dealer has like a no VR policy on the podcast.
No, I mean, I don't have anything against it, even though there's like some psycho obsessed with VR that like still remembers me talking shit on VR like 6 years ago or something. Like,
You talk trash about VR.
you used to make jokes about VR. That's where my girlfriend lives. Like,
Man,
seriously, it's cool. I think that's where everything's headed, right? Like, eventually it'll be good enough to where everything will go there. And it's the next natural step into gaming for immersion. But that's a long ways away before I don't know I have a boat strapped to my forehead. So I do want to move on to the next topic. And again, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't hit the like button, share it with a buddy or two, retweet this bitch. And of course, share it on Reset Era. They love us. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the show. We talked about Gears. We've talked about Cyberpunk. We've given you all the information on what Sony did and taking the game down off their store. If you missed that, check it out. Dirt 5 getting an upgrade on Xbox Series consoles. Yeah, Codemasters updates the game and improves visuals as well, even in the 120 FPS mode. And as my notes clearly say, Tim Dog, it's almost like everyone talking shit on this game is just a fucking moron, huh?
Yeah, well, I think that they were trying to suggest that the Xbox Series X was not powerful enough to render, I guess, the light. And
it couldn't have circular headlights. It's too
yeah. And the sad thing is that we were laughing pre-show is that people really pushed that and went with that. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show you how silly some of the stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to show you that power matters, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, like Dealer said, that those people are proven wrong, and it was just a patch that cleared it up, and here we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I was watching the banter between the developer and Digital Foundry, and he I guess Digital Foundry complimented them on the patch. And he said, yeah, it was just really tough, during the pandemic, to get
got it out before Christmas.
Yeah. So, and he said, thanks for pointing the issues to our attention. And look, lo and behold, it's fixed, and the Xbox Series X is performing how it should be performing. Like we've all said, it was coming in hot. Now, things are starting to settle, and we're starting to see the Series X perform the way it should. Like the Cyberpunk, I know we've talked so much about it on this show, but Cyberpunk is another example where it is performing better on the Series X. In fact, Digital Foundry said that's the best looking console version. So this is early days. The console's been out, I think it's 1 month since the console's been out, right?
Holy crap.
So it's early days, and strap yourself in. If you are running a victory lap after 30 days, I think you're going to be in for a really, really long ride the next 4 years, man.
Yeah, Game Genie said D-Batch doing the Lord's work. Help me snag a Series X. Big ups, D.
Yeah, no problem, man. I've been on Twitter. I swear I haven't even done videos. I've just been on Twitter trying to help everybody secure a console. I don't know why it matters to me, but it does. I want everyone to be able to get. I don't care if it's a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox.
You've been very.
Yes, hands up to you, D-Batch, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've seen it constantly. D is out there hustling to make sure this community can get a hold of a console when it seems to be nearly impossible.
Santa Batch. Yeah. You're doing a good job, D.
No, I have to props to D. Every time he does put it out, I do get halfway there and I get into a cart and then I start cursing them out because there's nothing left. But no, you do a great job though, D. For real, I have noticed that you've done that really good and got people some X's and PS5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The last few days, a lot of Series S's. In fact, I think Best Buy up to maybe 40 minutes ago had Series S's. So they're there to be gotten, and enjoy your shinies. The holidays coming, and I just want everyone to be able to game no matter what platform they prefer. Console gaming, it's should be fun. We can have the banter back and forth, but to have a real console war, I don't like you because you like Sony or whatever. It's just stupid. We're gamers to have fun and to escape all the bullshit of the world, especially in these times. So just have fun, guys.
Hey, Tim, I mean, people want to know about restocks as well. I mean, they're pretty much done for this year unless you get there and maybe they have some to buy on Christmas?
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Target. Target may have some pickup, and you can order it and pick it up at the store. They usually do that like 6:00 in the morning, 6 to 6:30. I'm hearing a rumor that Amazon is gonna drop. I'm probably gonna ruin their servers now, but Amazon's gonna drop Christmas Day. But yeah, I think it's pretty much dried up. Yeah, sorry, Tim.
No, I was gonna just say that, as you notice, like with the Best Buy, it would search stores in your area until they restock. They weren't sending them directly to your house. One of the things that I heard is that them and Sony and I guess even AMD, they're looking to get these chips, and it's just crazy. They from what I've heard, it's like it's crazy. I'm hearing April. That's how bad. Like, this isn't going to be readily available. I think though, like following guys like D, in January, you probably will come up with some times where you get maybe 10 minutes as opposed to 3 seconds. But yeah, I'm hearing, like I said, I'm hearing April is like when they're gonna finally at least have enough where it can be you go into a store and actually pick it up.
Hey, we're apparently lagging a lot right now too, and again, guys, like Nick, he said, get better internet. What do you fucking think? Like, my shit's good, okay? I got gigabit. It's YouTube, so there's not really anything we can do about it.
Super chats though, man.
Well, shit, send them straight to my internet provider, I guess, or maybe YouTube. I don't know. I want the stream. I mean, I spent a lot of the day preparing for this show, and you can't control this stuff. We've had shows where the power went out 17 minutes in. Oh, well, fuck.
It always happens. YouTube, for whatever reason, in December always has these problems.
Yeah,
I remember, like seriously, like every year during this time, for whatever reason, YouTube has these lingering issues. I remember the YouTube, remember the chat that they had, or the way you would broadcast. I forgot what it was called, playgrounds or whatever. Where you would do it, they would drop out, and there's just a ton of problems. But if you're buffering, just relaunch the browser.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah. And shout out to everyone who's kind of gritting through it. I know it sucks, and a lot of people have said, "All right, I can't watch it right now. I'll check it out later." But
not
still,
bad, though, it's not overly bad. Well, there we go. It buffered right now.
Yeah,
it's just
hangs up for
buffering.
a second, and then it comes back.
Yeah, at least it didn't crash on you. During the podcast like 10 minutes ago, Windows said, "Yeah, you're gonna upgrade your computer. Fuck you," and it shut my computer off.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Yep, it's not much you can do, but I did freeze my playback, so hopefully that did something. I don't know. Spooky Sprocket, by the way, says the medium is he said it's banned in Australia. Wow. He said if any Australians want the game, he's got a workaround for you. That's so funny. Why did it get banned in Australia? Right. That's the story right there. Also, KY Bob says, do you think Microsoft will talk to Cliffy B since Rod left? I don't know. No. I just felt like Cliffy was at the right place at the right time. I'm not sure what he could bring right now, but hey, who knows?
All respect to Cliffy, but he's done. Like, he's had a couple of reboots or retries of Glory, and he's fallen flat on his face. So it's not what have you done for me before, it's what have you done for me lately, and I don't think he's a viable option, my opinion.
He said, we all tried refreshing. It was a good idea, though, right?
Try changing you can always try changing the resolution, too.
I've even lowered my bit rate. I know it's not even on my end because it says on my OBS that I'm hitting.
Let me lower the resolution to see if that makes it. You know what? He's right. Clowns is right. Lower the resolution, and you'll alleviate that buffering. Put it to 720p.
Yeah, put the shit at 360p.
For the Xbox Series S levels, man. 720p.
Yeah, and again, Dirt 5 upgraded patch. They've made it look better. They've increased visuals on 120 mode. And you know, I cringed when I saw people picking apart that frame, that still frame from a 120 FPS Xbox Series S version of a game. You know, you're lucky you even get that kind of frame rate on a console at all. I mean, most PCs don't see that frame rate. So I don't think people understand quite what they're making fun of, and it really does kind of make it all look stupid.
It's cherry picking. Yeah.
PS5 is killing the PS4 Pro. Cold Eastwood. Apparently, they are not. They are PS5's in the corner strangling the PS4
I think
Pro.
you framed that incorrectly. PS4 Pro is now irrelevant and outdated and other assorted angry terms.
But I thought it was confusing when this, like when a new console came out, everyone was like, "There's going to be too many, and I can't count past 3. So how am I going to keep up? How are they going to keep up?"
They talked about discontinuing the Xbox One X about 6 months ago, and now they're doing the same with the PS4 Pro.
Didn't a lot of people get mad at Xbox saying like, "How dare you?" You know, like I don't feel like you care about my investment,
something like that. Yeah, that's just
but now it's the same thing. Huh?
Jeez,
dumbasses,
dumbasses.
Stupid. From a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense to keep building those systems because the new tech is actually cheaper to build than the old systems.
No,
right?
it's better, so it's more expensive.
It's just stupid. Man.
It's mind blowing. But still, I mean, I after all of the people that were saying Xbox was getting out of console gaming and that they were doing X, Y, and Z because they were discontinuing old models of the Xbox One, you know, it just blows my mind time after time this happens to these guys, right? So I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, Tim, how long do you think it'll be before we see PlayStation 4 is completely out of production and no longer offering any weird games? You know, because you know, console gets old. Certain developers kind of linger on them, and they ship some weird games on them, and nobody notices.
Usually, when they stop making the games is 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
As far as production of the systems, Pro is probably discontinued, and PS4 I would maybe think a year. It's like Xbox. Everything is pretty much discontinued from last gen, except for I believe the digital they're still making, or the S. Either one of them. But these consoles will be shortly discontinued. I mean, I remember it was funny because I know that you're poking fun at it, but they did make a big deal about the Xbox One X being discontinued, and it's like, you know, it's just, this is all part of the whole plan. And obviously right now, as you can see, people don't want the Xbox One X or a Pro. They throw it out. I have an Xbox One X. I won't even touch it. Once you go to the new generation and you feel that next gen experience, and I think that's why the S also makes it such a good valued item, is just the speed and the sheer the way everything works on the system is just a different experience. It's just night and day.
Yeah, you're perfect. You're right. I'm giving away my Xbox One X to someone that I know. I'm just gonna give it to them because I'm not doing anything with it. It's just sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, you did me good, but you know, sorry, can't go back. 60 frames for life.
Yeah, makes
just
a big difference.
Advance that performance.
And you see, all the time we were saying 60 frames per second makes a big difference. And unfortunately, a lot of console guys didn't know what it was. And now, when you experience 60 frames, there's no way you could go back and play that console. You just can't do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, jeez. Yeah, everyone's having some really bad lagging issues in the chat. Sorry, it's hard not to concentrate on, guys.
And we're sorry. Just put the headphones in and
put the headphones in.
Go
just
to
pretend we're T-Pain,
you
know, and fucking, you know, we'll just talk about Xbox and stuff. But you know, if worst case scenario, check the show out after the live stream, and usually YouTube will stitch those kind of lags together, and you won't see that stuff on the rerun. But yeah, again, PS5. I just thought it was a cool angle, killing PS4 Pro, and apparently it's only selling pretty well. I mentioned this in several videos since Tim said this on the show. You know, hey, Tim mentioned this on the RDX podcast. They're not focusing their units in the States when it comes to Microsoft, and Sony are, and they're going to take MPD. And you can expect that. You don't expect Xbox to win it. They spread what they had out over more territories than ever, and Sony did exactly what Tim said they would do. So, some quick little news bits here. There is a next-gen version of Control releasing February 2nd. For those that want to know, Halo, the services on Halo games and I guess the games, right? The servers, all that stuff. You know, the thing that Sony shut down the year after their game come out, like Gran Turismo 6. They're shutting that down in 2021. So next year they're shutting down the Halo services on 360, right? And I'm guessing that means game servers and maybe some other crap. Microsoft Flight Simulator, by the way, is the fastest growing flight simulator in the series ever. Over 2 million players.
No one cares about a flight sim game. That's what people keep telling me.
You know what's crazy though is like not a lot of people can even run this damn game.
Yeah, you need a beast of a rig. I have a 3080 and I have a 6800 XT. My 6800 XT, I think I get like 54. Like if I really crank it at Ultra, maybe I get 54, 53.
I mean, that's like impressive for like how hard this game is to run, I think. And they did show it on Series X here recently, D-Batch, and it looked pretty damn good.
Yes, it did look good. I think we're going to have two modes. I think we're going to have a 30 frames per second mode in that game with all the bells and whistles. That's one game where 30 frames per second is okay. And I think we'll probably get a 60 frames per second mode where they pare back the settings a little bit. I'm excited just to go and try VR in this game. I'm ready to get sick on my couch, man. Honestly tell you, VR on this game is going to make the numbers go through the roof. Everybody that has a VR headset, if they don't own Flight Simulator, they're gonna go and purchase that game. That is the de facto game for virtual reality, and it's very demanding, of course, because I'm trying to run it at 1440p. I mean at 4K. But if you have like a VR headset and you're running it at 1080p, 1440p, you're gonna get really good frame rates. Well, decent enough for the headset. So I think it's gonna be a good experience.
I mean, is it good enough to stop Colt Eastwood from slamming into his neighbor's house?
Yeah, probably not.
which I did.
He literally crashed a plane into his neighbor's house.
Yeah, I did.
I learned so much about planes from that game, just like how you have to keep your altitude, and if you dip too low, like you can't recover and you lose control.
You gotta keep the shit off the ground or you'll die, basically.
Man, that game. I don't think that game gets enough credit for what it is. It's definitely the best looking game that I've seen, bar none. It's the best.
Flight and aviation enthusiasts and people who have loved that type of game, like they're loving the heck out of it. And the gamer's gamer, who's whining on Twitter is saying like, no one cares about Flight Simulator. It's like, well, no one cares about every single game. Yeah. I'm sorry. But this is an impressive game, and this is something it's a big deal. It's going to be on console. It's going to look phenomenal, and it's not coming to Xbox One. So
good.
Games just aren't designed to run on a JAG Core, hard drive based system, and this is one of them.
That game is heavily CPU bound, so it would run at like 5 frames per second on the Xbox One, man. Yeah, it wouldn't run.
What is the requirements for the PC version of that? Do you guys know?
Your soul and your firstborn.
I would say 3080 is if you really want to be able to play that game, or a 3070, or like a 2080. And I guess at the lower resolutions, you could probably get away with a 2070. But you need a really good CPU too, because like I said, that game is really heavy on the CPU, man.
Somebody messaged me about Porta Potty. Nobody gives a fuck about what Porta Rock thinks. Anyway, let me go ahead and jump back in here. Oh, we've got another topic. This should be. I'll give this one to Zauker because I think he died.
I'm here.
Zauker, you didn't play Gears 5 Bunker Busters yet. You didn't play Dirt 5 yet.
No,
but
I'm not gonna play.
You didn't play a Flight Simulator yet.
I played Flight Simulator.
You played Flight Simulator yet?
I told you I played it on the.
You played it now already?
Freaking awesome, like actual cockpit that my cousin put together.
All right,
like he has like 8 screens and shit. Like I was a damn pilot.
All right.
It's on the word.
It's freaking
Does his
insane.
house shake and shit when you fly around? I mean, did he go all out?
I mean, it should at this point because that thing was freaking awesome.
He stood behind Zocker's chair and just rocked it back and forth.
Turbulence. Hey, but seriously, Phil is speaking out on an update to the Xbox ecosystem, basically hinting that they could be bringing Xbox Game Pass family plans, or like I guess a family sharing system between Xbox Game Pass and stuff like that. I wanted to go ahead and let you tackle this one.
It sounds like that whole like game share thing they were trying to do when Xbox first started, right? Where you can have 10 systems share, and it was like, you know, all that stuff, but people yelled about the DRM, so they got rid of it. So it sounds like they're kind of going back towards that. Where I mean, my game share partner sucks ass, but the family system, like having shout out to my dumbass friend. But I think that's awesome if they can get Game Pass, because there's a lot of people that I know that their kids actually do use Game Pass, and they just download random indie games. They don't care about like a lot of the bigger games, but they'll just play like a small little game and just play it and enjoy it. I know a lot of people that play Tetris, all that stuff. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a good plan. I think Xbox knows what they're doing, and just keep going with that. Like, the more features we get as gamers, the better, right? Like, if I can share Game Pass with like my brother-in-law or anything, and we just, you know, game share and get a Game Pass as a family, like that just cuts the price, you know, like in half or whatever the hell you can get it to.
But it devalues the game, sucker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, people are stupid, you know. They say stupid things.